Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Carol and the name of my channel is My Blessed Nest. Today I'm participating in It's Flippin Friday with Jamie at Border Bananas. This is where we take something old and flip it into something new. There's going to be a playlist and I'm also going to link Jamie's channel below, so make sure you check them both out. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first project I made today was a banner, and it's going to say Merry on it for Christmas. I used my Pinocchio game from when I was a kid as my pattern. I wanted a rectangle, and I traced out 5 rectangles. I used a box that I got from Sam's Club with 2 gallons of vinegar in. Next, I tried to cut out the rectangles with my scissors. I was not very successful at all, so I actually ended up having to make a new rectangle and start over. I got my utility knife out. My husband gave it to me and I use it all the time. I absolutely love it. And that was a much easier tool to use to cut out the rectangles. Just make sure you have something underneath of your project that you're not going to ruin your table or tablecloth or whatever. By magic, my rectangles are all painted. I thought I had the camera on, but I didn't. So I'm just touching up the edges on some of them, but basically I just took an old chippy brush, some red matte paint, and I just dry brushed all 5 of my rectangles until they looked the way I wanted them to. I chose to use a matte green for my lettering, and I started out with just stamping with my $1 stamp set that I thrifted, just stamping right on the corrugated cardboard, but I didn't really think it looked anything special. You'll see here in a second. So then I had to make a plan B. I decided to use some cardstock and I cut out 5 more rectangles, and these were 2 inches by 3 inches. Here we go again. This time I put the paint on the stamp and put the stamp right on the cardstock. I was flipping it over there to make sure that I had the side that didn't have pencil marks on. And then I put them towards the bottom because that's the look that I wanted. The cool thing about this craft is I wanted it to look kind of handmade, kind of rough, and so I wasn't real picky about making sure everything lined up perfectly. Next, I used an Elmer's glue stick and attached the cardstock letter to the corrugated cardboard. I made sure to run my finger around the edge and press down firmly on each of the letters. If you don't have a stamp set like mine, some other options are hand lettering your own letters, or you could use stencils as well. At this point, I decided my letters were just a little bit too plain, so I took the same green paint and I made a little edge right around that cardboard stock. Again, I don't want it to look perfect, so I just freehanded it, and I was really happy with the results. It gave it that extra little something. If you have a heat gun, it sure speeds up the process, and that way you don't smudge your letters. After I had everything assembled the way I wanted it, I tried to use my hole punch to punch holes in the cardboard, but it was just too thick. I know I've used this technique before, so I think maybe my cardboard was a little bit thicker than the last project I did this on. So no worries, I went to plan C. That's the fun thing about crafting. You just regroup and find another answer and keep on going. So my next plan was just to take some pretty thick twine, not the real skinny stuff, and I just measured out how much I thought I would want, making sure to leave plenty to hang it, and then I just glued it along the tops of the letters right onto the cardboard. Lastly, I decided to put a quick coat of green paint on the back to cover up all the vinegar wording from the box. This is optional depending on where you're going to hang it. I decided to hang mine in front of a mirror, so it was mandatory. Here's how my banner looks in place. I have it at this little area at the bottom of my steps, and it's just the way I imagined it. I love it. For my other project, I decided to pull this old sled out of the basement. It was from a craft class I took probably in the early 90s, and I'm really over the barn red color. So I tried this bright green and ooh, didn't like it. It just didn't look right. I ended up putting a pretty bright red on the top, and then I painted the runners black. I'd like to take this opportunity to request that you subscribe to my channel. If you like thrifting, DIYs, trash to treasure, and decorating on a budget, you're at the right place. So it would help my channel a lot, and I think you would enjoy it as well. So please subscribe and make sure to ring the bell so that you get all notifications of any new videos I post. I'm finally all done painting the top and the runners, and now it just looks too shiny and bright. I'm using a sanding block to rough it up a little bit and get some of the paint off of the edges where the natural wear would occur. Eventually I switched to a piece of sandpaper, and that seemed to get off the paint a little bit faster. My last step was to embellish my sled with some rustic decor. I chose some rustic looking jingle bells hanging on a piece of velvet ribbon, and I just attached them in the back. Next, I decided to add an ornament that I actually got at a garage sale in a big bucket of ornaments for $1, and I just thought it was so pretty and I love the glitter on it. I simply hot glued it near the top and then attached it to the back as well with more hot glue. Lastly, to finish off my project, I added these beautiful snow-kissed pine cones that I've had in my stash for a while. I just thought they gave it a lovely touch, and I just decided where I wanted them and then hot glued them on as well. I did not spend any money out of pocket on either project. I love challenging myself to make something out of what I have on hand. It was a lot of fun, and I love the results. I decided to put my sled in front of my fireplace. If you haven't seen my home tour, you're going to want to check it out. I'll link it below for you. Let me know in the comments below if you liked my projects or what you thought of them, and if you would try either one of these on your own. And now I'd like to thank one of my top commenters, and that is Mom Das Life Handmade. She's been with me for a long time on my channel, and she always writes the sweetest comments. And it popped up with a little notification for me that she's one of my top commenters. So I would like to give a shout out to her because she also has her own channel, and she does amazing crafts out of almost nothing. She likes to make things out of things that she has on hand, kind of like me. So I will link her channel below in the description box, and be sure to check her out. What's coming up next? Well, if you're a YouTube creator, I am hosting another collab. It's called the Winter Wonderland Tiered Tray Collab. I hope that you can participate. I'll leave all the comments for you on my community tab. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I'll link it below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.